Hello everyone, how's it going, and welcome back to a brand new Wild Rift video. In today's video we'll be taking a look at one of the brand new champions that just came out, Rengar. We'll be taking a look at what build to go with Rengar, what runes to take, we'll go through all the abilities, and we'll have some gameplay to show off to you as well. And before we get into today's video, just to remind you all that XL are giving away a free Wild Rift skin. All you have to do is like the video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we'll pick a winner when the next Wild Rift video comes out. Now, let's get into the guide. Rengar is an AD assassin champion. He's a really good champion when it comes to the damage output. He does a lot of damage in a short amount of time. Rengar can pressure a lot in the early game. He's one of the highest damage output junglers, especially when it comes to the early game and when you're trying to fight other junglers. And he has a relatively fast jungle clear as well, so you can try and get to that level 5 and try and get your ultimate as soon as possible. And then with Rengar, when it comes to the mid and the late game and you have your ultimate available and you have a few items, you can use your ultimate to go invisible, which is really strong in Wild Rift because there's no real counter at the moment to invisibility, and you'll be able to jump onto the enemy backline and pretty much just one-shot them and delete them off the map. Let's take a look at the items, runes and spells that you should be running on Rengar. First up we have Duskblade. Duskblade gives you a lot of attack damage and also a little bit of ability haste, which converts into cooldown reduction for your spells. You have that little bit of armor penetration in there for you as well to help you out against the tanks. And also you have a really good passive in Night Stalker. Being unseen for 1 second causes your next attack against a champion to deal bonus physical damage and slow them by 99% with 0.5 seconds. Now with Rengar, with his passive, which we'll go into a bit later on in the video, you'll be going in and out of bushes a lot and jump into champions. So most of the time you want to make sure you're unseen and then jump on to the enemy champions. So this works really well with the passive of Duskblade and also helps you in terms of getting more damage. Next up we have Youmuu's Ghostblade. Again, it gives you the attack damage, the ability haste, and also gives you the armor penetration. And with Youmuu's passive, Momentum, moving builds momentum, granting up to 50 movement speed at 100 stacks, so you're able to move around the map a lot quicker. Now, attacking removes all momentum, but if you attack with maximum momentum, it grants you 25% attack speed for 4 seconds. This is really good, especially as a jungler. You'll be running around the map a lot, obviously ganking lanes, and this helps, especially with your ultimate as well, to try and jump on the enemy champions and to try and kill them. Next up we have the boots and the boots upgrade. Now for boots you can go for the ninjas tabbies, which give you armor. You can also go for the mercury treads as well, which gives you some magic resist. This solely depends on what the enemy is building. If they're building a lot of attack damage, then make sure you build the armor boots, and if they're building a lot of ability power, make sure you buy the magic resist boots. Now for the boots upgrade, stasis is really good. With Rengar, you'll be jumping onto the backline a lot. So if you kind of want to keep yourself alive and kind of wait for your team to come and help you out, you can activate the stasis. You become invulnerable for a few seconds. And then by that time, hopefully your team will be there to be able to help you out. Next up, we have Mortar Reminder. Again, more attack damage. Again, more armor penetration, which is really crucial on assassins like Rengar. Now, Mortar Reminder also has Executioner's Calling, which physical damage applies grievous wounds to the enemy champions for 3 seconds. Grievous wounds basically means that it will reduce their healing. So if you jump on an enemy champion, if they're going to try and heal, or if they have any supports that do any sort of healing, it will all be reduced for 3 seconds. So it's really crucial when trying to kill off enemy champions. Then after you have your 3 core items, this is when you kind of want to go a bit more defensive, because at this point you'll have enough damage with the Duskblade, Ghostblade and the Mortar Reminder. So the next item being Guardian Angel, this is like your defensive standpoint. Gives you some attack damage, it does give you some armor, but the main purpose of Guardian Angel is being able to resurrect. Resurrect is basically when you're about to die, instead of dying you kind of come back to life and you get 50% base health back as well after 4 seconds of being stasis. For the final item we have Death's Dance. Gives you the maximum health, gives you the attack damage and the ability haste, but also gives you physical vamp as well, which means that every time you'll be dealing physical damage, you'll get a bit of percentage back to you as well as like healing HP. Death's Dance also has another passive, which 30% of damage taken is instead dealt as bled effect over 3 seconds. This is really good if you're against other AD assassins or any other AP assassins. If they're trying to walk up to you and trying to one-shot you, it's instead dealt as bled over time, so you can hopefully have minions near you or champions near you that you can use that physical vamp to kind of heal yourself back up so you don't actually die. Now moving on to the runes, first off we have Electrocute. Hit the champion with 3 separate attacks or abilities in 3 seconds will deal some bonus adaptive damage. Now with Rengar, when you're jumping onto enemy champions, you have a lot of spells that you can combo. Your first ability, your second ability, and your third ability. These are really easy to hit when you jump on an enemy champion. And you only need to hit 2 of them as well, and then you'll be able to deal the extra Electrocute damage. So it's really easy to proc and really good spell for Rengar. Next up for the runes, we have Brutal, which you gain 7 AD and 2% armor pen. This is really good, especially early on when you're clearing out the jungle and hopefully getting that early advantage with Rengar, as he does really well in early game skirmishes. Next up, we have Hunter Titan. You gain 20 max health at the start of the game, which can help you out a little bit when clearing out the jungle. And every unique champion takedown grants 20 max health and 4% tenacity. A unique champion takedown is 1 takedown on each champion, and takedowns mean kill or assist. So this works hand in hand really well with your passive. You'll be going around trying to get kills on pretty much all of the champions in the game. So you'll be stacking up Hunter Titan quite a lot. And lastly for the runes, we have Mastermind. You deal 10% bonus true damage to epic monsters and turrets. And you earn an extra 100 gold and 500 XP upon taking or assisting in taking these objectives. Really crucial for a jungler. You'll be focusing on epic monsters and towers a lot, so to get that extra bit of damage is very crucial, and you also get a bit of gold and a little bit of XP when you take them down as well. And for spells, we have the Smite and we have the Flash. Pretty self-explanatory. Flash is really good for getting in and out of team fights, and the Smite is always crucial on junglers to be able to smite objectives and kind of secure them. That's it for the items, runes and spells. Let's head on to the abilities. First up for Rengar's abilities, we have his passive. If Rengar is in a bush or camouflaged, he will leap to the target with his next attack, and if Rengar has no ferocity, he gains 1 ferocity. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'll quickly show you. Basically, when you're outside of bush, you basic attack as normal. But when you step inside of bush, you can see there's a big massive ring that happens around Rengar. So you can basically jump to a champion every single time you go into a bush. This is really good when you're trying to catch up and when you're trying to leap on the enemy champions. It works on multiple targets as well. So you can leap to jungle camps, you can jump to monsters. It's really useful and really helpful. The next part of Rengar's passive is Bone Tooth Necklace. You gain attack damage for each unique champion takedown. You gain 1 stack per unique takedown. This does work for kills and assists, very similar to the Hunter Titan rune. But make sure when you're roaming around the map, make sure you're always trying to target unique champions every single time to try and get them stacks and to try and stack up that attack damage. And for the last part of the passive, we have the Ferocity. Now you gain 1 Ferocity upon casting a basic ability, so your first, second or third ability. Reaching 4 Ferocity enhances his next basic ability, allowing it to be cast separately from the base version. You basically get like an upgraded ability once you get to 4 stacks. Now you'll see throughout this video that underneath Rengar's health bar there's a white bar that basically goes up over time when you use your basic abilities. This is your ferocity stack, so once you get to 4 stacks, your next ability is enhanced and all your icons turn yellow. This is when you know that you're at full ferocity stacks and your next ability will be enhanced. And for Rengar's first ability, we have Savagery. Rengar's next 2 attacks within 3 seconds gain 50% attack speed. The first attack is empowered to deal additional physical damage. And then the Ferocity version, which is the enhanced version that I just spoke about, you gain even more attack speed for 5 seconds instead, so the time is increased. And the first attack deals an even more additional physical damage. All it is, when you activate the ability, your next basic attack will basically slam down and you'll get a bunch of attack speed as well. And the Ferocity version, as you can see, when you cast it, you basically gain even more damage and even more attack speed over time. Next up for Rengar, we have Battle Roar. Rengar roars, dealing magic damage and healing for 50% of damage taken in the last 2 seconds. And then the Ferocity version of Battle Roar, which is the enhanced version, you deal more magic damage, and Rengar also gains a bunch of movement speed for 2.5 seconds, and it removes all crowd control effects from himself. Pretty self-explanatory ability. When you cast the ability, it basically does like an AoE effect around you. You see it just does a big massive battle roar. And then the enhanced version, when you activate it, you do more damage. You also gain a bunch of movement speed, and it will cancel any crowd control effects. Next up for Rengar, we have his third ability, Bowler Strike. Throws a bowler that deals physical damage and slows, and a ferocity version deals even more physical damage and it roots instead, which means that the champion will stay in place. A Bowler Strike is a skill shot that you can throw in pretty much any direction, and when you throw the ability, it will deal physical damage and it will slow also the enemy champion. And once you get full stacks, when you throw out the Bowler Strike, it will root them. As you can see, there's a net around the champion, and it will also deal even more physical damage. And last but by no means least, we have Rengar's ultimate, Thrill of the Hunt. You gain 50% movement speed and reveals the nearest enemy champion for 20 seconds. Rengar becomes camouflage, so basically become invisible after 1 second, and his next basic attack shreds the target's armor by 32. This is your main ability when ganking as a jungler. It's a really powerful ability that you can use. And when activating the Thrill of the Hunt, you'll see that after a second, Rengar becomes camouflage, so basically invisible. And then the orange arrow is the arrow of where the closest enemy champion is. So as you walk up, you can press the attack button, you can jump to that champion, and you can deal a lot of damage. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on what abilities you should level up first with Rengar. At level 1, you should go for your first ability, Savagery. Really good to get extra physical damage and the attack speed when clearing a jungle early on. At level 2, you want to go for Battle Roar. Battle Roar is really good because you're able to get the AoE damage on jungle camps, and also you get a bit of healing as well. Then at level 3, you go for Bowler Strike. This allows all 3 of your basic abilities to be available, so you can stack them up and get the Ferocity passive. You can enhance your next ability. And once you have all the abilities available, the one skill you want to max up is your first ability. It allows you to deal more damage, more attack speed, and it allows it to be up more often. And make sure at level 5 you level up your ultimate. Your ultimate is available to level up at level 5, level 9 and level 13. So make sure you always do that. And then after this, you just want to make sure you max out your first ability. And then after you max your first ability, you want to max your third ability, so you can do more base damage and more slows. Obviously making sure that you level up your ultimate straight afterwards. And then after you have your third ability max, you just want to make sure you max out your second ability. And then when you're at the maximum rank level 15, you'll be able to have all your abilities fully upgraded, and you can go around and you can one-shot the enemy team. Rengar also has insane 1 vs 9 potential and is one of the very few champions who can carry a game on his own back when mastered. So it's really good if you get an early lead with Rengar. You'll be able to snowball your lead and kind of be able to carry when it comes to the mid game and the late game. In team fights, Rengar's main purpose is to try and jump on the enemy backline. You want to kind of sneak around with your ultimate and kind of surprise the enemy champions and jump on from out of nowhere, while your whole team is kind of by themselves as 4 and trying to kill off the other enemy champions. And there you have it. There's our in-depth look at Rengar, one of the newest champions that have come out to Wild Rift. If you learned a thing or two about Rengar, make sure that you give him a try. He's a very fun champion to play, especially if you like assassins, if you like to run around and kind of one-shot the enemy carries. He's super awesome to play. If you have any recommendations or any champions you want us to run through, let us know down in the comments. Hope you all stay safe. Take care of yourselves. I'll speak to you all very soon. Peace.